album for me was a testament to my personal healing. It still is. Every time I perform this music, and I've performed it live like now 20, 25 times, I learn something new about myself in the process, every single time. So it's something that keeps giving back to me in a way that is dealing with healing and dealing with trauma, dealing with anxiety, fear. I deal with that every time I perform this music. I knew that I wanted this record to just be produced from my voice. The title kind of came because as I was working with all these like hundreds of vocals, voices are really similar to strings in the way that like the waveform looks like. It actually starts to feel like very fluid, like very watery. I was researching different bodies of water, how water kind of moves. I was correlating that with like a kind of emotional journey, some elements that I think are like universal to like emotional things all humans go through. And that way it feels kind of like folkloric. Folklore is something that is like really relatable because everyone understands it, because everyone feels it in some way. This theater is a part of a big project of social theater, social art in Berlin that was happening over the last 100 years. It's one of the key cities to make theater stages more accessible for like working class people, normal people. And that really inspires me too.
Lyra's album has no words. There's something about her vocal work, but not having specific words, and then going off a visceral impulse or emotion that I think it's really normal that dancers will connect to it. There's something really powerful. There's like an immediate umbilical cord between the way that she's using voice and a movement practice of any artist. Almost an allegory of how your body will feel and the way that she's using voice. I believe that dancers around the world are connecting to this music because of the fact of the way that this voice is used as a ritualistic healing thing, and how it's sort of like a trance. If you're a dance artist or a movement artist or a performance artist that also push yourself to get into that deep part of how to use your body, voice will always come out in the weirdest ways.
One of our musical foremothers, Meredith Monk, she was really interested in making the voice dance and making the body sing. What if the singing voice was dancing?
Yeah.
And the body was singing?
The album really is operatic. I see the whole show as like an opera, and you reference Commedia dell'arte and Greek tragedy, so I think the work itself really calls for like a hyperbolic visual component. And I think that's where dance and like activating the body becomes really necessary to continue telling the story.
Our bodies are not a method of transportation for us to go to meetings and show up to places. And that doesn't matter if you're a dancer or not. Like, there's a huge disconnection in society. People are disconnected from their bodies. And maybe this is why Lyra's work becomes so universal, because It's different if you have a violin and you need the violin to make the work, but she's using her voice, something that's in her body. I'm a huge fan of mute films that didn't have scripts, because you depend only on the movement of these actors and also on the atmosphere that they create. Sometimes dance is powerful because of the energy that two people have in space even before they go to each other. Like maybe they're barely moving, but the way that, you know, they reach for each other's hand or they look at each other, that instant just makes the audience connect to it. And then from then on, they will just be in this journey of movement with you.
I think our culture is really sick from this European Enlightenment era when Descartes made this like famous statement of separating the head from the body, that like our brain and our body are separate. And it has created this culture of really valuing our brain more than our body. And when we feel sad or when we feel sick, like we go to a therapist or we talk about it and we get really heady about all our problems instead of really listening to how our body's responding to like what we're going through in our lives. And I think dance has really taught me that actually we have the tools to help ourselves. And like, how many times have you felt really shitty and like the first thing you want to do is like go to a club and dance it out and to really like refresh the body, refresh the brain, refresh everything. I think like dance and movement, not just the club, but also going on a run, like just any type of like form of moving the body releases endorphins in your brain, and there's so many like chemical things happening inside just by movement that heal you, and you shake up different things that are stuck. And it goes back to the album because you chose to go to the body to figure out like something that you were working with and to heal yourself, because the voice is totally connected to the body. We all have this power, actually. It's not just something that artists have or dancers or vocalists. It's like we all have a body, and we all should have more access to learn how to use it to be better for ourselves and for the people around us. And that the answers are not always up here, that we can like listen to what's happening in other places.